Hi everyone, it's Cole from Cole's Quilts, and I wanted to pop on to give you a little bit more information about the Santa Quilt Along and a few updates. We have had new people in the Facebook group since I started the Santa Quilt Along, and I've been sort of changing little things about my patterns as I go. And so one of the things I want to talk about is, why are some blocks divided? Traditional foundation paper piecing, the seams and the sections are all built around creating a picture. And so you have lots of large and small irregularly shaped sections. One of the things that's always been different about my patterns is I don't do that. I do blocks, but then often those blocks are then divided into smaller sections. So some of my patterns are more like traditional paper piecing, whereas it's just a regular picture. Some are more like a pixelated type of picture, like the owl quilt. The owl quilt was designed where every block was the same, all the pieces were the same shape, and just the change of color created the picture of the owl. Now, when I did the frog, it didn't work as well because when I did that, it looked essentially like too pixelated or too blurred to like clearly see the frog. And so the frog is sort of a combination of the two styles, where the edges of the frog, I went in and put clean lines around the edges of the frog, which made those blocks a little bit different. And then because of that, sometimes they had to be broken into smaller sections. Whereas the middle of the frog or the background, the blocks could all stay the same. This is the same with the Santa quilt. So the outline of the Santa would look too essentially blurry or pixelated if I didn't create a clean outline. And so where I'm creating the clean outline between the background and the Santa, that's going to change the shape of some of the pieces in a way that sometimes I will need to break them into smaller pieces. If that's the case, you would cut them out and you would sew them as two separate pieces. And then once all the fabric is on those pieces, you would trim them around the seam allowance and then you would sew them back together to create that block. There's going to be a good chunk of blocks that are just one section. I try to avoid breaking into smaller sections as much as possible. However, there are cases where that needs to happen in order to get the look that we're going for. So there will be some places, mostly like in the middle of his face, around his mustache and his eyes and his nose, where in order to see those details, I'm going to have to break the blocks into smaller pieces. Most of the background and a lot of like the collar and the hat inside that will be just regular blocks. So that's sort of the reason why I do that. That's the update for the Santa quilt. Some other updates. My sewing studio is starting to come along. It's still not quite done, but I have my new long arm and I have drawers. They just don't have fronts yet. Some things we have coming up. There have been some teasers that I've reposted about the grimoire, which is a collab with 13 other designers. I can't give you a lot of information because we have this whole plan about when the information is going to be put out, and I'll be reposting. But basically, each designer created a block, and then with all those blocks, you can create either a twin-size quilt or a banner, and it's all built around a theme and a specific set of colors. And the designs are really cool. So the designs are gonna come out September 1st, and there will be a sew along, as well as you can buy a kit if you want to do the whole quilt. I will keep posting information about that when that happens. There's also another collab that I'm in that I will have information on forthcoming, not quite yet. One of the things that I'm really excited about right now is that I've never had a long arm with computer software before. And so I have been playing around and figuring out how I can create my own edge-to-edge and custom designs. And when I get done with this quilt and I get to play around with that, I'll post some about that. And in the future, who knows, I might also be able to offer downloadable files for long armors for different designs for quilting. Maybe some designs that like are made to go with certain quilts. We'll see. It's super fun, but there's a learning curve and I've just started on it. So if you have any other questions about the different parts of the Santa quilt that I did not cover, please comment or send me an email, because I want to make sure you guys understand how to do it, because it is kind of a long and complex sew along, but I feel like it's going to be worth it because it's been really fun. And I think that's it for now. Happy quilting.